The night was warm in Star City, West Virginia. It was July 6, 2012. 16-year-old Skylar Neese had spent the day like any other teenager, tweeting, chatting with friends and relaxing in her bedroom. No one knew that within hours she would vanish without a trace. Skylar was bright, sarcastic, and full of energy. Her two best friends, Sheila, Eddy, and Rachel Shoaf, were inseparable from her. The three had been friends since middle school, often posting smiling photos together, laughing like sisters. But beneath those smiles, cracks had already begun to form. Over time, Skylar began feeling like the third wheel. Arguments flared, secrets spread, and trust broke. Her Twitter feed hinted at tension, vague tweets about betrayal and lies. But no one thought it meant danger. That night, Skylar's parents, Dave and Mary Neese, went to bed believing their daughter was safe. Around midnight, a security camera outside their apartment caught Skylar sneaking out through her window. A car pulled up. She climbed in. Then, nothing. She was gone. The next morning, her bed was empty, her phone off, her uniform still neatly folded. Her parents panicked. They called friends, neighbors, and police. Everyone said the same thing: Skylar never just disappeared. At first, authorities thought she was a runaway. But her parents knew better. Skylar's paycheck and contact lenses were left behind. She hadn't packed a thing. Her best friends, Sheila and Rachel, told police they dropped her off near her home around midnight. That story didn't add up. Days turned into weeks. Flyers with Skylar's face covered every pole in Star City. Her smiling photo haunted social media feeds. Her father drove through towns yelling her name, desperate for a sign. Then came a shift. Surveillance footage revealed Skylar had entered a silver sedan at 12:30 a.m., confirming she'd left willingly. The last people she was seen with were Sheila and Rachel. But when questioned, they acted calm. Almost too calm. "She's probably hiding," Sheila said, smiling in front of the cameras. She tweeted things like, "Love and miss you, Skylar, please come home." Rachel cried in public but avoided questions. The police noticed. The girls' stories were almost identical, word for word, as if rehearsed. Months passed. Skylar's parents kept pushing. Every candlelight vigil, every TV plea, they never stopped. But behind the scenes, detectives had begun connecting the dots. Phone records placed Sheila and Rachel far from where they claimed to be. Tire marks, surveillance footage, and inconsistencies started stacking up. Police quietly made them prime suspects. Then, in December 2012, everything exploded. Rachel Shoaf broke down under pressure. During a winter storm, she confessed the unthinkable. Through tears, she told investigators, "We stabbed her. We just didn't want to be friends with her anymore." The officers froze. Two teenage girls had lured their best friend out of her home, not for a prank, not for revenge, but to murder her. Kitchen Knife Chapter 2, Betrayal in the Woods. Rachel told police the full story. That July night, she and Sheila convinced Skylar to sneak out. They told her they just wanted to drive around like old times. Skylar agreed, thinking things were finally back to normal. They picked her up in Sheila's silver car. They laughed, listened to music, drove into the countryside. But once they reached a remote dirt road near Brave, Pennsylvania, everything changed. The girls parked the car, pretending to smoke. Skylar stepped out, and when she turned her back, they attacked. Rachel said they counted together. 1, 2, 3. Then they stabbed her. Skylar screamed, tried to run, but she didn't make it far. They dragged her body off the road and left her under branches. Afterward, they cleaned up, tossed their bloody clothes, and went home like nothing had happened. The next day, they posted on social media as if Skylar was still missing. Sheila even joined her parents at vigils. She smiled for cameras. Rachel pretended to be heartbroken. But guilt eats away at the strongest lies. Months later, Rachel's breakdown and confession finally led police to Skylar's body. They found her remains in January 2013, exactly where Rachel said, buried beneath leaves near a lonely road. The town broke. Skylar's parents collapsed when they got the call. The two girls they once welcomed into their home had taken their only child. When Sheila Eddy was arrested, she didn't cry. She smirked for the mugshot. Rachel Shoaf, meanwhile, wept in court. During sentencing, Rachel said, "No words can describe the remorse I feel. I'm so sorry." Sheila said nothing. Rachel got 30 years, Sheila got life. But the story didn't end there. The betrayal became one of America's most shocking teenage murder cases, not because of the violence but because of the motive. There was none. When asked why they did it, Rachel simply said, "We just didn't like her anymore." That one line chilled the nation. Skylar's parents, Dave and Mary Neese, turned their grief into change. They fought for a law, Skylar's Law, requiring immediate action for all missing children, even those thought to be runaways. It passed in 2013, saving countless lives. But for them, the pain never faded. Skylar's room stayed untouched. Her father kept her photo in his wallet. Every year, on the night she disappeared, he lit a candle and said, "I just want people to remember her." In the end, this wasn't just a murder story. It was a story about trust shattered by betrayal, about evil hidden behind friendship, and a reminder that sometimes the people you love most can become your worst nightmare. Rachel Shoaf sat in the interrogation room, eyes red and hollow. She had been holding it in for months, the weight of what she and Sheila had done pressing on her chest like a stone. Now, as detectives leaned in, the words finally broke free. "I killed her," she whispered. The officers froze. For weeks, they had searched for Skylar Neese, the bright 16-year-old girl who vanished one summer night from her quiet West Virginia neighborhood. They'd followed leads, chased rumors, questioned classmates, but nothing prepared them for what Rachel was about to say. Tears streamed down her face as she confessed the unthinkable. "We stabbed her. Me and Sheila. We killed Skylar." Detectives exchanged stunned looks. The two girls who had been helping in the search, posting on social media, crying with Skylar's parents, they were the killers. Rachel explained that on the night of July 6, 2012, she and Sheila Eddy had everything planned. They had packed a knife, cleaning wipes, fresh clothes, and a shovel, tucked inside the trunk like it was a casual road trip. They told Skylar they just wanted to make up, to go for a drive, to smoke and laugh under the stars. Skylar hesitated. Her parents said she seemed tired, but when her phone buzzed again, "Come on, Sky. Just one night like old times, Red Heart," she smiled. She opened her window, slipped out quietly, and climbed into the back seat. They laughed at first. The car radio played softly, headlights slicing through the lonely West Virginia roads. For a few hours, it almost felt like the friendship was back. Three teenage girls talking about boys and school, pretending nothing had changed. But Skylar didn't know that her best friends had brought her here to die. They crossed the state line into Brave, Pennsylvania, a remote spot surrounded by woods. It was a place they'd been to before, a quiet escape known only to them. When they pulled over, Skylar thought they just wanted to hang out. She climbed out, grabbed her lighter, and turned her back. That's when Rachel counted under her breath. 1, 2, 3. The sound of knives slicing through the night air shattered the calm. Skylar screamed, terrified, betrayed, desperate. She fought back, but it was 2 against 1. Her cries echoed through the trees and then, silence. Rachel said she remembered standing there, staring at the blood on her hands, hearing Sheila's laughter twist into something inhuman. "We just didn't like her anymore," Rachel said. The words hit detectives like a blow. No motive. No jealousy over a boy. No rage. Just cruelty. They dragged Skylar's body down a short hill, covered her with branches, and left her under the open sky. They climbed back into the car, wiping their hands and whispering nervous jokes. On the way home, they rolled down the windows to drown out the sound of silence. The same silence Skylar would never escape. When morning came, Sheila posted on Twitter, "Always keep your friends close and your enemies closer." And Rachel? She prayed no one would ever find out. For the next 6 months, both girls lived double lives. They went to school, smiled in photos, and cried alongside Skylar's parents. They joined search teams, held vigils, and even hugged Skylar's mother while pretending to help. Sheila kept tweeting cryptic messages, dark humor, fake sadness, and fake hope. She even joked about missing Skylar. Rachel, however, began to crumble. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't look in the mirror. The guilt haunted her like Skylar's ghost was following her everywhere. By December 2012, Rachel had a mental breakdown. She screamed, cried, and begged for help. Her mother took her to a pastor, who convinced her to tell the truth. Within hours, Rachel was at the police station, trembling, crying, ready to confess everything. Detectives listened as she mapped out the scene, described the road, the tree line, the shovel, everything. She led them to the woods in Brave, pointing to the exact spot. For months, the forest had hidden Skylar's body, leaves and snow covering what was left. But when police dug into the frozen ground, they found human remains. DNA confirmed it. Skylar Neese was dead. When news broke, Star City froze. Parents held their kids tighter. Students whispered in shock. Skylar's father collapsed when he heard. They were supposed to be her friends, he said. Police arrested Sheila Eddy outside a diner in May 2013. She was smirking as if the entire thing was a bad joke that only she found funny. That image, a teenage girl smiling after being accused of murder, haunted America. At trial, the courtroom was packed. Rachel cried through her testimony, reliving the nightmare. Sheila showed no emotion. When the judge asked if she had anything to say, she simply said, "No." Rachel received 30 years in prison. Sheila got life without parole. But for Skylar's parents, justice was hollow. Their daughter was gone. They'd spent months searching for her, handing out flyers with Sheila beside them, not knowing they were standing next to her killer. Her father, Dave Neese, said later, "Skylar was my only child. I'll never get over it. But I'll make sure no one forgets her." In Skylar's memory, her parents fought for Skylar's Law, a new system ensuring that missing children are immediately treated as endangered, even if they're believed to be runaways. No more delays. No more waiting. Skylar's death would save others. Today, people still visit her grave, a quiet place marked by photos, stuffed animals, and handwritten notes. The laughter of the teenage girl who once loved music and sarcasm echoes faintly in every visitor's heart. Her story spread far beyond West Virginia. It became a symbol of trust turned into terror, of innocence betrayed, and of evil wearing a friendly smile. Every July, candles light up Star City. Friends, family, and strangers gather to whisper her name. The town that once knew laughter now remembers a girl who was too trusting, too kind, and paid for it with her life. She thought they were her best friends, her mother once said. But in the end, they were her worst enemies. As the documentary closes, the scene fades into the forest. Wind moving through the trees, the same woods where Skylar took her last breath. The camera pans down slowly, showing the dirt road where her laughter ended. And then a candle burns in the darkness, trembling but never dying out. Her story remains haunting, unforgettable. The screen fades to black. In memory of Skylar Annette Neese, 1996 to 2012.